Point of no return. Let me repeat that. Point of no return. And I say that not just for those in the Comicsgate movement, but for those in the legacy comic book industry, because now there is no going back to the so-called status quo. So how you doing, folks? It is I, the Bane of the Woke, the Harbinger of Heritage, the Mad Shogun, Aaron Alexander, and I'm sorry I didn't bring out this video to you yesterday because, well, as Primus once put it, I've been to hell, I spell it DMV. Yeah, I was fucking around with the DMV yesterday, and the only reason was because, unfortunately, I have to sell the Eclipse now because they couldn't get my transmission done in time. In fact, they weren't even close to done. Freaking morons. But that's alright. I got all my money back, and as soon as I move location to Florida, I will be purchasing another car, and believe me, it's going to be a substantial upgrade to the one I had. It'll probably beat an Eclipse, but it's definitely a convertible for sure. But we'll see what happens going forward. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and play the clip for right now. So, first cut, go.
I'm Eric July, founder, owner, and writer.
Sorry about that.
Welcome to the Rippaverse. The Rippaverse is the result of a comic book lifer that wanted to be a part of the solution instead of always griping about the problem. Now, don't get me wrong, this was always a part of my aspirations. However, the current climate certainly sped things up. You've watched some of your favorite comic book characters be bastardized to the point to where they're completely unrecognizable. They're just used as career stepping stones for a lot of writers that don't care about the lore. Some even despise their fans. Those are people that just want to tell stories that represent their social political views, even if they don't make sense for the characters that they're writing. And of course, these mega corporations that control these properties don't exactly make it easy for you to get in and understand what's canon. So maybe it's time for something new. We are a comic book company first and foremost that will never be forgotten no matter how big this venture gets. And we are guided by a set of principles known as the Rippaverse ethic. You will find this on a page in every single book that we release, and it's a set of standards that we certainly want you to hold us to. There are three main things that we will always emphasize. Number one, respect the customer. We aren't owed your dollar, but we love to have you as longtime supporters. It's going to be up to us to keep you interested and invested. Now, anytime there's passion involved, there's going to be those conflicts, but we'll respect you, so as long as you respect us, it's all about reciprocity. Our second point of emphasis is canon and continuity. This is an ever-expanding universe. There's going to be many of characters that will be introduced. But when you buy a book from us, you own a piece of history. It matters. These events will not be erased by way of time travel or some multiversal aspect. And number three, a comprehensive timeline. No matter when you jump into this space, we want to make it easy for you to get caught up on some characters that you're interested in, so we're going to keep the reboots to a minimum. Now don't worry, we know that picking up the pieces is part of the fun, so we're not going to exactly hold your hand. And while I personally value liberty, we're not going to beat you over the head with on-the-nose current politics and current narratives that will completely contradict what it is that we're trying to do here. So whether you're into our main character in our first book, Isum, or you're into Yaira, or you're interested in all of them, we'll certainly have you as a customer. Your ethnic background or genetic makeup is wholly irrelevant to us. Now, previously being part of comic book fandoms myself, I understand the importance of them. We'll do our jobs to preserve the sanctity on the business end, and we hope you will help us preserve a more healthy and thriving fandom. If we manage to do that, we're going to be very competitive in this market, and we're going to make our mark on this industry. We're not going to be perfect. Errors will be made, but we won't let that stop us from being great. So visit Rippaverse.com, where we have our own unique store that is tailor-made for our audience. A lot of our stuff will be released in campaign format with limited edition items, and once they're gone, they're gone. We'll be making books that expand across many different genres, so I'm very confident that we'll have something that is right for you in a series that you'll make your favorite. And one last thing. I started this company with no external investors, and that's something that I like to remain true. Sure, we want to expand in many different avenues, video games, animation, maybe even live action movies, but not if it means selling off assets. We only answer to the customer. We don't want to make the same mistake as the other guys.
Yeah, I did not want to pause a single beat. I mean, originally I was thinking maybe I'll pause for some commentary and what have you, but I figure with that mission statement and this whole approach to comics, this is proven winner. As I said before, what started with Comicsgate, with Ethan Van Sciver and your boy Zach, this was the trajectory right here, and it all came to this, that being the Rippaverse. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, it's all okay. So how did he do so far? Well, again, I was gonna make this video yesterday, and it's sad because I didn't get to a certain milestone, but I'm just going to show it to you anyway. This is the campaign from his first comic in the Rippaverse, Isom, and just look at this: 13 times its goal. Their goal was $100,000, and so far they have raked in $1.3 million. Let me repeat that. $1.3 million. I'm just going to say this right now. This, again, fucking game changer.
Donations, 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 gifts, 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 more gifts, more gifts.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I said in the beginning of this video, we have crossed the point of no return here. This, if anybody has pointed to the final death of the legacy comic book industry, that it gets to a point where Marvel will have no choice but to start selling out their IPs, or DC will have no choice but to start selling off their IPs. And I'm not saying right now, but in the future, we're going to be pointing to this event right here. This event, where now Eric July is now helming the biggest event in the comic industry in quite some time. And the best part, this doesn't belong to Marvel or DC. And I will say this right now, you think that Pencils Down incident was bad? Well, this will put the pencils down at DC and Marvel permanently. I bet you they're looking at this right now and they're thinking, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What are we gonna do? Call this guy a racist? Call him every epithet in the book? Hell, maybe even go back to the old playbook of how the left used to do things. Basically, call anybody who call Eric July uppity. Start going full on Jim Crow on his ass. You see, this is the problem with the legacy comic book industry. This is what happens to the mainstream culture. They have no answer for this. But the answer is simple. Create compelling content. Compete fairly. But no. What they do instead is they belittle, they mock, and then they evangelize their bullshit ideology. And most comic book fans have had enough of it. It's not just comic book fans. This is also a final warning to those in tabletop, those in the Western gaming industry, the AAA more specifically. Hell, I'll even say Hollywood, because I want you to consider this your final warning. Okay? You better knock this shit off. Stop chasing the ESG grift, or you will have more campaigns like the Rippaverse coming up, and they're coming for you. You understand that? You can try to belittle them, you try to get them banned off social media and what have you. Yeah, you and your they them army, your fucking brown shirts. But there ain't no stopping in the underground right now. There is no stopping them. We are gonna be taking those upstairs rooms, while you motherfuckers languish in the goddamn basement. Hell, probably have to claw and fight for a position in an artist alley or something. But yeah. So ISOM #1 is doing extraordinarily well. This has done better than a lot of the campaigns surrounding your boy Zach, anything Ethan Van Sciver does or John De La Rose combined. And the consensus among those men, save for one, which I will reveal in a minute, has been nothing but praise, love, a lot of well-wishing to Eric July. Eric July is one of the good ones. I've been following him for a couple years, and believe me, one of the best voices to talk about when it comes to culture. All right. And I believe John De La Rose once put it. Every big wave should raise all ships, and this is going to raise a lot of ships. I guarantee you, the Rippaverse right here, it's going to draw more attention to people like Ethan Van Sciver, to people like John De La Rose, to Cider, to Rags, and any other comic book artist. I guarantee you, every one of these people, they're going to see their campaigns grow, not shrink, grow, because this will increase more awareness to independence. You'll see double the take from Ethan Van Sciver, his Cyberfrog series. You're going to see double the take from everything that John De La Rose does. Double the take from every one of them, everybody involved. And this they're all happy. And they're not hating on him because he made more freaking money. No, we like the fact he's making more money because in turn it's gonna make more money for them in the future because it will bring more eyes to the fucking table. That's the point. That's the goddamn point. And not only that, this is not just comics. Again, this will happen with other medium as well. Expect gaming to have this effect in the near future, whether it be video games or tabletop games. Okay, and the funny part is, it seems Ronan is going to probably get back up and running at the best time it can be right now. Which I hope, again, I'm aiming for getting things back up in September or October at the latest, after I get settled into Florida. So you know I'm going to praise this, because like I said, if it can happen to a man like Eric July, it can happen to anybody who undertakes this venture. Because this problem isn't limited to the comic book industry. Tabletop RPGs have this problem. And remember what I've been talking about yesterday about Gen Con, embracing segregation. People are getting tired of this shit in culture. And now we're starting to realize that because politics is downstream from culture. And if we're gonna have any way of putting the left on pure defense and putting them out of the public square, culture, we can't be ignoring culture like we have in the past. Okay? And I'm gonna talk now. I know I've been going on this long, and I haven't talked about ISOM just yet. Now, I'm not going to talk about. I only talked about it just once, but I believe, Eric July has written the story, but also there's three other guys that came in. One of which you probably heard of before. You have an industry veteran Cliff Richards, who's doing the pen and ink, and as for the colorers, Gabe Al-Taib, formerly of DC, and the creator of Truth, Justice, American Way. And it seems Gabe Al-Taib, man, his career has gone nothing but up ever since he forsake DC. So very big shout out to Gabe Al-Taib for being part of another great venture going on. I guarantee you're going to be seeing his name a lot in the comic book industry as time goes on. Because now he's got Truth, Justice, American Way, and now he's working on Rippaverse comics. This is freaking amazing. And then also you have Eric Weathers, who's a letterer. I don't know anything about Cliff versus Eric Weathers. Again, comics isn't really my forte, but again, I recognize this is a major game changer. And the story, I'm not going to tell much about the story, but just like most creators, it's pretty much based on all their localized stuff. I mean, it's the same as I with Ronan in Chicago. And Eric July was doing more stuff, more based in Texas and around his area. But still, 1.3 million is nothing to sneeze at, folks. This is nothing to fucking sneeze at. Now, unfortunately, there has been some people that are not too pleased about this. So apparently someone asked, who is Eric July and why is everyone so mad at him? But of course, the he-him brigades, the they-them, the pronoun cult, they're basically saying he's homophobic, pro-comics, gay, pro-geeks and gamers, blah, 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 blah. So there's another Michael Malone, another goony beard man. Yeah, I wonder how many sexual assaults he's done in the last 5 years. And then then someone responded, "This is Alex Jones shit here. Next thing you'll say is he's turning the frog straight." And then it all goes back to the comics gate. This dumb flat cap wearing backbencher. They're afraid. They're legitimately afraid. They know that with this breaking 1 million, they know the clock is ticking for them. The clock's about to strike midnight, and they're gonna be whoring for blowjobs under the overpass to make rent. Yeah, and they're overpriced iced apartments. Which they say, oh, we're so that's what city living gets you, provided your car doesn't get fucking stolen. Jesus Christ. But the saddest part of this, though, is the response from Richard C. Meyer, aka your boy Zach, and this was noted by, again, a good friend of the show, Mr. John Delarose, and he basically said this: while I am very excited for Eric DeJuly, and I don't think he would have any problem with me giving my take on his extremely successful campaign, it's become very clear to me over the past year that, in general, the crowdfunding space is not a place for debate, discussion, or even slight difference in opinion about itself. You are expected to join one side or another and root for your side and boo the other side. I've gotten sucked into squabbles between co-creators and after giving their book a positive review. I've been given a glowing review to another book that somehow got me hemmed up by both sides. I'm not waking up to a fifth day of people giving quotes from my video about live streams that absolutely do not exist. So I'm not going to be covering crowdfunding in anything other than objective terms, which means mostly numbers. What do I think about the Rippaverse campaign? I think that as of 10:04 on July 12th, 2022, it sold $973,549.24 worth of comics to 9,947 people, and that number has surely gone up. So basically, at best, your boy Zach is fence sitting, or B, he's gone full on. Oh my God, I did not expect this movie to get so big. And the problem is, it's not as cut and dry as Zach puts it. I mean, the guy has blackpilled himself into a freaking corner. It's either that or he's got to the point where, you know what, he wants his clout back, so he's going to take the blue pill and play it safe. You know that latter option will not exist for you. They're going to go back to just laughing at you. It's going to be the same old hell that you left behind when you did Jawbreakers. And like I said, we have no room for blackpilling allowed here, okay? Personally, he should be freaking. If it was in my situation, say for instance, I put together Ronin, it does well, and someone else comes around and does 10 times as good. Like say Mildred, what Mildred the Monk is doing with Xanatrix, with his Final Fantasy inspired tabletop RPG. Let's say it does go like 10 times that what Ronin did. Okay, you know, and despite my obvious philosophical disagreements with Xanatrix, very philosophical disagreements between him and the monk. I will be singing the praises and saying, listen, this is great for the tabletop industry. It brings in more alternatives, and it's going to bring eyes on it, on the independents. Which the only rule here is, as long as you treat your customers with respect and dignity, and not try to insult their intelligence or try to preach to them, you're going to make a lot of money. You will be a success. You will be going to all these conventions. Well, assuming that there would be conventions, but considering how the convention scene's been in the last year, I think a paradigm shift is going to be coming with that. But you'll be going on the shows, you'll be going on the things, and hell, maybe some of the people that bitch about all the crap, talk about the woke shit all the time, will actually start talking to even the most obscure people, you know? Hell, probably some guy you never even heard before, but he comes up with something especially exciting, and it's like, hey, let's interview him. Not just ignore him for months on end, because he doesn't have, because it gets in the way of their grifting. Or not that gets in the way of their grifting, or I would just say it just detracts from more complaining about shit that they can't do anything about. That's dead. I mean, come on. Just make just make a better version of Star Wars. Make something better. Don't fucking bitch about the same old shit that you're not going to get back anytime soon. The only way you're going to get those back is if they become sellers. If they start selling off pieces of their IP just so they can keep the goddamn lights on. And who knows? Maybe out of spite, they probably even won't. So, the bottom line is this, folks. This is, again, I've said this before at the beginning of the video. This is the point of no return. And right now, those that are pretty much standing against it, well, let's be honest, people. Let's be honest with these people. You're fighting a losing battle. The ones that are going up against this move right now, they are fighting a losing battle. They had plenty of time to turn this around, to reverse course, ever since the milkshake incident of a few years ago. Yeah, with that freaking Heather Antos. But let's put it this way. You had all this time to reverse course, apologize to the fans, and say, listen, we're gonna make the comments that you like. We know that we know that your dollar is what keeps the lights on. We're sorry. That's all you had to do. But no. You gave the finger to the fans, and instead of taking their money, you've taken ESG money from BlackRock and Vanguard. And now look at you. What's going to happen when the ESG gravy train finally runs out? And considering what's been going on with Sri Lanka, and now with the Dutch farmer uprising, going forward, I think the ESG grift is going to be called into quite a lot of scrutiny. And I guarantee you, there will be investigations. The backlash is going to be coming, whether through congressional investigations or what have you. That gravy train will not roll on forever. So for those of you backbenchers, those of the they-them cult, and all these fucking commie scumbags in the industry that chomp down your fucking avocado toast while swilling soy milk. My final message is to you, and also to the ones that are coming up in the world. I want you to take this as an inspiring message, while for the woke, I want you to take this as a message of warning. And this message is paraphrasing one of the greatest icons in professional wrestling. I am talking about the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. It's this. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, you best learn to love it, because this is the greatest thing going on today. And I say this not to the comic book industry, but to everywhere around you. Tabletop industry, video games, movies. We coming for you. We are coming for you. If you don't reverse course now, we will bury you. We will bury you. You better remember that, people. You better remember that. Change course now, or your ass will be sent to the Shadow Realm.